Right. In this video, we're going to talk about the number one thing that you need to learn in order to be a better marketer in 2019. Now, if you learn this one thing, you're going to be head and shoulders above 90% of the marketers out there, whether you're working for a company, offering your services to someone else, as a contractor, offering your services to someone else as an agency provider. Right now, we're going to get into exactly what it is that you need to learn, and step by step, you're going to understand why this is the number one thing you should be learning right now. So, as a marketer, have you ever found yourself thinking, if only I could understand what channels were producing the best result, I would be able to easily make decisions to know what to invest in and what to build more of in terms of the campaigns that I'm running and the ads that I'm putting out. I've thought this many times. In fact, I've thought that if I just had a way to visualize what's going on in all these different marketing channels, I could easily make the decisions that we need to grow as a team, as a company, which marketing channels we should invest in, and which campaigns are working. All I need to do is figure out, how to see the data that that I'm thinking about in my head. The different campaigns we're running, the different channels we're on. If I can just see that and understand, which platform is going to show me that or where that data is going to come from, I'll be able to make the right decisions for my company, team, product, whatever it is. I've thought this many times. The problem is the bottleneck in business problems and understanding, data analysis, business solutions, where bottlenecks lie for a company. The whole difficulty in understanding those problems comes from figuring out where that data is in your business and how to get it so that you can visualize it and all the other people in your company can visualize that data. Think about it. If you knew exactly where to look to find out the performance of your ad campaigns on all the different marketing channels that you're running, it would be very easy for you to make decisions about what's best for your client, your product, or your company, or your team. It doesn't matter if you're a growth manager or you're just trying to, grow a Shopify drop shipping store. The problem is you can't see what's happening with your customers online and where conversions are coming from. This is actually the number one thing you need to solve as a marketer, a product manager, a growth manager. It doesn't matter what level you're at. If you don't have the data that you need to make the decisions that you're trying to make or solve the problem you're trying to solve, nothing else can get done until you fix that problem. On top of that, if you think you have the data that you need to make the decisions you're trying to make, and you're not 100% sure that that's accurate data or it's reporting what you think it's reporting, you're going to have another layer of problems to solve as you're trying to figure out how to spend your marketing dollars, how to apply the marketers that you have to the problems you're trying to solve, and which channels you should double down on. So the number one thing that you need to understand as a marketer is data engineering. You need to understand how you can get the data out of the platforms that you're using into some sort of system that allows you to look at all those different pieces of data in a way that gives you the context for the layer of your business that you're trying to figure out. So for example, in a business, you have all these different stacked layers of abstraction that you can zoom in on or zoom out on to see what the performance is of your business. For example, if you're looking at paid traffic, you may have multiple channels, things like LinkedIn ads, Facebook ads, Instagram ads, Google ads. Combined, you have a blended performance for all those channels, which would be your paid marketing performance. If you want to zoom in one layer of abstraction, you can look at one of those channels, Facebook. If you zoom back out, you're looking at all of them. If you take an even more zoomed out approach to all your marketing channels, you could think of things like organic posts to your blog, you could have social media posts, you could have your paid traffic, you could have influencers marketing your products that are driving traffic to your site or your product. When you zoom out and look at all of these, you then have all these different channels with all their sub-channels to look at for the performance of your product. And at each layer you're trying to look at that performance, you need to understand where the data is coming from, how it's being manipulated prior to you looking at it, and how what you're looking at relates to what's happening with your users online. The only way that you can do that as a marketer is to have a fairly intricate knowledge of how that data is being extracted from the platforms you're using, platforms like Facebook and Google Ads, how it's being transformed, meaning what are the platforms doing that's altering the raw data that's coming in terms of things like user clicks or user actions on your site? How is the platform altering that data before it stores it in its internal databases? How are you then extracting that data, and then how is that data being transformed in your own databases so that you can better understand it? If you don't understand at a minimum everything that's happening from the time that data is captured on those platforms and how it's captured, and then how you're extracting that data and what transforms happen to that data, meaning how it's manipulated prior to you visualizing it, you're never going to be able to make the right decisions about the type of channels you want to use, the type of ads you want to use, and the campaigns, whether paid or organic, that are actually working for your business. So in order to set all this up, it brings us to a multidisciplinary field of data engineering, understanding how you're moving all this data across platforms. Generally, the term that's used is ETL, extract, transform, and load, where you're extracting that data from a platform like Google Ads, transforming it into your own database, meaning doing some type of data manipulation or cleanup, and then loading that data into some sort of platform where you can visualize it to make data-driven decisions. So at a minimum, I suggest if you want to be the best marketer you can be in 2019, whether it's as a contractor for an agency, you're a individual contributor marketer at a large company, or a marketing manager or growth manager, the number one thing you can do is start to understand data engineering so that you can work with data engineers, or if you're working on your own business or product, start to understand how to enhance your ability to extract, transform, and load data for your own purposes. If you found this interesting at all, or you'd like to learn more about how data engineering applies to marketing in general, make sure to like and subscribe on this video, as I'll putting out more videos on data engineering specifically. But if you're interested in any other videos on data-driven marketing or paid acquisition, make sure to like and subscribe, because we're going to have more content coming out on those topics. So I hope you enjoyed this. Thanks for watching. Please look into data engineering more to be the best marketer that you can be for 2019.